I do think 2023 was a good year. I feel like we seemed to, as a team, maximise every opportunity we had. Why did it make it better than previous years? I think more than anything it was down to just the chemistry, having another year with the team, them understanding me understanding them, and weirdly I think a lot of laps in Formula 1 helps as well, just to make you a better driver. So it turned out to be a great year for me as well as the team. It gives me a lot of confidence going into this year. I feel like this year, with a car that will be very different, I think it's going to take a lot of time to adapt to it, but that's where that chemistry is going to be so important, to try and learn the car as quickly as possible. The 46, the approach that we took was looking at our weaknesses from last year and realizing that without a big change, we're not going to fix them. So a lot of work and effort got put into changing or focusing onto the FW46 very early on. It meant that last year we were a little bit compromised in terms of updates towards the end of the season. But that puts us in a good place this year. In terms of driving, I actually think it's going to be quite difficult to adapt. A lot of work already on the simulator to understand this new driving style. But hopefully they're all good changes. I do think we're going to have to change our driving style, yes. I think there's going to be, in some ways, more of a conventional driving style. But because I've driven the Williams for 2 years, I've learned something else. So actually, it's going to be more about unlocking or locking away the stuff I learned for the last 2 years and going back to a bit more of a different style, normal style. I've enjoyed my time supporting Logan. I feel like when I had my year away from Formula 1, I did that a little bit with Yuki, and I understood sometimes also just supporting someone, you learn as well. You learn kind of what they see or how they deal with things. A lot of the work that I was doing with Logan was not so much actually driving. It was a bit of driving, but more about just managing weekends and the year, the calendar as a whole. And I like Logan. I think he's a great guy. So I'm very interested to see how he goes about this year. I think he's going to be a totally different driver. I think the change of characteristics is only going to help him, because I feel like what I learned over 2 years driving the 44 and 45 doesn't carry across to most racing cars. And it was very easy to make mistakes in the 44 and 45, whereas the 46 should be a much more forgiving car. And I think just by that simple change, easier to drive, more consistent, easier to predict, and I think the mistakes will become far less. I wouldn't say looking at junior drivers has helped me progress. What I feel has happened is, as I've gotten older and I've learnt what I need, what skill sets I need to be in Formula 1, I've been able to understand that and then help advise junior drivers. So only using my own experience can I help other people. It would have been nice to have maybe someone a bit older than me in Formula 1 who I could have leaned on a little bit more. But yeah, I think my journey was quite a difficult one, and I learned a lot of things along the way which have made me who I am today. There's still many more things that I still need to learn, but for now, yes, even just helping Logan or helping the juniors, I enjoy that. Hasn't changed for me, no. The totally honest point of view is it's such a challenging position to be in, to be asked to support a teammate or people who in 4 or 5 years' time could take your seat, because that's your job, that's what you want to control. Formula 1 is such an unknown sport. One year you can be up, one year you can be down. So you want to protect yourself as much as possible, and you have to be very self-confident in who you are to be able to do that. Very simply, the first thing I'm looking forward to in 2024 is driving the car for the first time in Bahrain. I'm really excited to see how the car feels. We've done so many laps in the simulator to finally understand what it's going to be like. I'm interested. I want to see if the simulator correlates well. If it does, that's a very good sign, but we'll have to wait and see. And then other than that, it's just going to these tracks. I think Bahrain already is a good track for us because it was one of our trickier circuits last year to get right, and to be able to directly compare the 46 straight away on a difficult track for us. It will show us if we've gone in the right direction or not. On paper, the 46 should be much more of a complete racing car. So what you saw last year were these peaks coming in. Of course, some tracks we knew about, Monza, some tracks we didn't know about, Zandvoort. When we look back and we understood why the reasons were why we were quick, it did make sense, but in the moment it didn't. The 46 should be more complete, so let's see, maybe our peaks aren't as peaky, but there are tracks, for example, like Monaco or Barcelona, which have always been very tough tracks for us, and they're the ones where, last year was more about, we've got 6 races in the year that we can score points in. Hopefully it will be 24. Without putting too much pressure on James, I think this will be his first year where he's had direct control over the development of the car. Everything he spoke to me about and seen in Williams over the last year or so, I think it's now basically James Vowles' car. So let's see how it goes. I think he's really understood our issues throughout the year. He was relentless in asking questions about the limitations of the car and what we can do better. So let's see. I think all the steps I've seen behind the scenes have been very positive. So let's see if it translates to the circuit. With the year we've just had, it's great to see the energy within the team, within everyone back at Grove, but also to see the new sponsors we've got coming on. It just shows that as a team we've progressed so much from 12 months ago. It feels amazing to be able to say that. That hopefully should come into this 46 and this positive upward spiral that we're on. I think the sponsors reflect that.